But there's a burden with what you hold in dear, and it keeps you up in the middle of the night. And I feel luckier than ever when I can't stop until I get it right.
It's Studio One Tracks on Iowa Public Radio. I'm Tony Daner. Jordan Sellergren is a singer-songwriter from Iowa City who is finally getting to play shows in support of her album Sweet Bitter Tears, which was released last spring. She is now the Artist of the Month for September, and she's here with me now. Jordan, welcome to Studio One Tracks.
Hi, Tony. Thank you for having me.
So before we get to this album, we're going to go back a little bit further. You previously wrote and recorded music under the name Milk and Eggs.
True.
Is there a difference between Milk and Eggs music and Jordan Sellergren music?
There has become one, but it was kind of an arbitrary change. I was tired of using a moniker, honestly, and I debated it for a long time, but ultimately, to simplify my life, just started to use my own name.
It was that simple there.
Yeah, I mean, I remember asking social media probably for over the course of one or two times over the course of a couple of years, trying to ask, and everybody who responded had a different opinion. Some people liked it, some people thought I should use my name, but ultimately I'm really glad that I'm just me now. It makes more sense.
Does it feel a little more honest? I don't know. I'm reaching.
Yeah. I mean, I do have. I used to play with somebody who told me that it seemed a little disingenuous to use a moniker, and at the time I thought that was an annoying thing to say, but really I think it's right. And then I told Mark this actually during an interview last year, but people always screwed up the ampersand. They would do like an N with 2 apostrophes on either side, and I couldn't stand it. So it wasn't worth it. You can butcher my last name pretty easily, but it's better than an N with 2 apostrophes.
The album Sweet Bitter Tears came out last spring. I think the original plan was for it to come out in March of 2020. Is that right? Or April?
It was actually supposed to be May. We were going to do our release show. God, I can't even remember the original date. I think it was May 8th. And then I pushed it to like May 21st. I was like, oh, I bet we could do it. We're going to think positive. And that was, quickly forgotten. So yeah, it came out in May though. And then the records arrived in July.
Okay. There was a lot of that thinking going around at the time. We're only going to be working from home for a few weeks.
Yeah.
And wow, how naive we were.
We were.
And then all shows, of course, were canceled. How did that feel?
It sucked. I was like really starting to I hadn't played with a full band until we started work on Sweet Bitter Tears, and with like a drummer, with a rhythm section and everything. So I was just really starting to get into the swing of it and feel like, okay, I'm building up my confidence as a performer, a band leader, learning how to, perform spontaneously. And I was having a super good time. So then I think for me, the saddest part beyond the pandemic itself was like feeling like I was going to be taking steps back in my progress as a performer. But here we are again. So kind of.
A lot of musicians, of course, were able to fall back on their day jobs.
Yes.
During all of this. Your day job is at Little Village Magazine. What is your title there?
I'm the art director.
Okay, so your day job was also heavily impacted.
It was, but we made it work. We really made it work. Our distribution, we had to get creative with it, but we found partners that helped us distribute, and we I think went maybe 2 months without doing an issue, or I can't remember. But we picked up in June 2020 and have been going strong ever since.
You yourself also had COVID-19. You spoke about that when I saw you perform at the Cedar Basin Music Festival
Yeah.
earlier this summer. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. I would say, okay, I felt like it was scary. I will say it was scary. It was a shocking after a year to do, feel like I was doing just about everything right. And then I had my first shot and then to find out that our household was positive was quite shocking. Physically, it was, I remember thinking, wow, I can definitely see how people end up in the hospital. Like the feeling in my lungs was scary. It felt like charcoal. There was like I don't know, I kept getting this vision of charcoal. And then it lingered in the weirdest way. Like I just had this kind of ongoing physical fuzziness, like in my, I don't know, it was a very strange physical feeling. But I did recover. I haven't had any long-term effects that I know of. And I only had, I experienced some taste change, but I didn't experience the taste or smell loss. But I had a really weird moment where I opened up a jar of like hot chilies and ate one, and it was the most horrible chemical flavor that I've ever tasted. It was very strange, and that lingered for a few days. But yeah, we all recovered and we got our second shots, and now, here we are again. We'll see.
Were you able to play guitar or any other instruments during that time?
Yeah, but I was doing a lot of moping around in bed, being angry at the world. So I don't know if I played or thought about music. It was like a week-long blackout.
You're getting to play shows again. I saw you perform at the Cedar Basin Festival, as I mentioned earlier. You had Randall Davis and Ryan Brenneman.
Matt Berman. Yep.
Matt Brenneman. I'm sorry, Matt. A couple of the usual suspects of the Iowa City music scene.
Yep.
Is that kind of your regular band?
Yeah, those guys and Rich Wagger. We play together. I have a great time playing with them. So, and we're getting to know each other's styles over the course of like being able to play live again. We have shows coming up, assuming they take place. We have one outdoor show coming up, which I believe will be passed by the time this airs. And then a couple things that are inside, and I am curious to see whether those actually take place. I do want to plug a show. I think October 10th, we're playing outside at Sutliff Cedar, which is, there's a lot of space to spread out. So I feel pretty confident about that show, but the weather might be terrible. So we'll see.
There are daily reminders that the pandemic is not over. It never did end. And now, with the Delta variant becoming dominant and hospitalizations are going up yet again, venues are requiring those that are continuing with shows. We're seeing more and more requirements of proof of vaccination, proof of a negative test. Are you in favor of that sort of thing?
Yeah, I absolutely am. I haven't had an opportunity to, it's the way that a lot of my shows go is they're not ticketed. So it's kind of like up to the restaurant whether or not they enforce that. Unfortunately for me, I can say that if I did like a ticketed, headlining kind of show at a venue, I would absolutely require vaccinations, and I would just require vaccinations. Yeah, I am like that. Sorry.
What is next for you? Are you working on new music? Do you have any big shows on the way?
No big shows. There's a couple things coming up in the fall. Again, we'll see how they go. I have a show in December where I'm partnering with Ryan O'Ryan and supporting him at XBK Live. But again, who knows? As far as albums go, I think that's kind of my backup plan. If everything gets thrown off course again, I think I will probably go back into Flatbox Studios and record another one, because I do have some songs. I've got a bunch of old material that I want to have recorded for portfolio reasons. So why not? I don't know if I'll throw down on a record again this early, but yeah, I would like to record more.
And before we wrap this up here, where can folks find you on social media and kind of keep up with what you're up to?
Jordan Sellergren. It's JordanSellergren.com is my website. And then similar, it's the same for my Facebook. You can find me there. You can find me on Instagram. Just look me up. I'm there. Reach out if you need anything. You want to book me or buy an album.
All right. I've been talking with Jordan Sellergren of Iowa City. Her album Sweet Bitter Tears has been out for not quite a year now. Check it out. You'll be hearing it a lot on Studio One for the month of September. Jordan Sellergren is our artist of the month. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me so much.
Torn off by an anxious mind. It's just the nature of a job I love, and I feel better when the day begins. But there's a burden with what you hold in dear, and it keeps you up in the middle of the night. And I feel luckier than ever. I can't stop until I get it right. I do my best riding in summertime on my bike with my body in motion. Record the words on my phone as they rise. Get back to work with a distracted mind. But I'd like to think I'm luckier than ever to have the burden of these things I love. A split focus and a wandering head. I keep working on what I'm thinking of. Left the house when I turned 18. Fucked around till you were born. You came along when I was 24, but I didn't know nothing until you were 3. Except that there's a burden with what you hold in dear, and it keeps you up in the middle of the night. I feel luckier than ever when I can't stop until I get it. There's a burden with what you hold in